"I believe I have some bad news," the doctor said at the ultrasound. The world slowed. My wife's face crumpled, tears gathering, breaking into sobs. I just stood there, dumbfounded. The only question that came out of me was clumsy but burning. "But we heard the heartbeat 2 weeks ago. How is this possible?" The doctor explained, gently, that it could be due to any number of reasons. That it wasn't personal. That it didn't mean the future was closed. But his words floated somewhere far away, like echoes underwater. What I wanted was a few hours of silence, to step away, to sit with pen and paper, to name the feelings. But not then. She needed me more than I needed me. So I stayed still, a wall trying to hold her up, even as my own foundations were cracking. It takes time for news like this to land. At first it feels unreal. You half expect to wake up in a different version of the story. But silence settles in and grows heavy, and you realize what was once becoming is no longer becoming. And then your thoughts wander outward to other parents, to those who have carried dreams like this only to lose them. Some who lost in the womb, others after birth, some to accidents, disease, or senseless violence. And you wonder, how do they put themselves back together? For men, grief feels strange. There is no scar to touch, no body that reminds you daily, just the sudden collapse of imagined futures. For women, the body itself is marked. The grief isn't abstract, it is physical, cellular, undeniable. Different weights carried in different ways, and yet both cut deep. How fickle is life, truly. One moment you're marveling at a tiny heartbeat. The sound feels like magic disguised as science. Cells lining up into form, energy gathering into rhythm, declaring itself alive. And then, silence. It is astonishing how fragile it all is, how quickly hope can dissolve, how thin the line is between existence and absence. We live as though life is durable, as though tomorrow is promised. But it isn't. It is paper thin, borrowed, always. Reconciling with this is harder than words admit. The mind circles endlessly, searching for reasons, looking for a culprit, a cause, a pattern, something to point at and say, there, that's why. But the reasons scatter, and the questions come. If we come from nothing and return to nothing, what is this all for? Is life just an experience? A brief flicker of awareness before darkness returns, or is it a classroom meant for lessons we can't yet name? Is the purpose the impact we leave on others? Or is it legacy, some faint trail left for generations after us? But if nothing is in our control, if control itself is only illusion, then what do these questions even mean? Sometimes it feels like all of life is just questions tumbling into other questions, echoing in the dark. And yet, there is also gratitude for the glimpse we had, for that brief heartbeat, real and undeniable, a kind of celestial high. Maybe the soul was playing hide and seek, choosing for a few weeks to hide in my wife. A visitor from some other dimension, brushing against us before moving on. I don't know if that thought comforts me or unsettles me. Maybe both. But blame and worry sit close by. Even if we try again, what can I say to her? Don't worry, nothing bad will happen. But it did. So what promise could possibly mean anything now? The only option seems to be moving forward, with anxiety strapped beside us, hope shadowed by fear. Because fragility doesn't cancel hope. It just makes hope more dangerous. So is it worth it? To hope again, knowing it could shatter again? Some would say yes, others number, and neither would be wrong. Maybe it comes down to what each of us can live with. I keep circling back. Life is astonishing, and life is fragile. But then I wonder, why do we forget that? Why do we live as though tomorrow is ours? As though the next moment is guaranteed. Tomorrow I could step off a curb and be hit by a car. It could all be gone before I knew it. And in that instant, what does the house mean? What does the car mean? The lifestyle, the plans, the little arguments, the lists of things we thought mattered. They dissolve. They always were fragile. They only looked solid because we chose to believe in them. We build and build, we chase and chase, and yet all it takes is one breath not returning, one silence after a heartbeat, and it is gone. Not the things, not the people, not even us. Maybe the only thing left is presence, to be here while we are here, to love, even knowing it can be torn away, to hope, even though hope can break. Because if life can end in a blink, maybe the miracle isn't in how long we hold on. Maybe it's in the brief fact that we held anything at all.